Whoa,
Wow.
Hey guys.
Wow.
We're here now. This is the SuperChill Podcast. We're very excited today. As always, Pastor Joel. Today we have special guests.
Man, I was grooving on that tune, man.
Right.
Listen, you and I got to go in the studio and finish your song that has that same island funky groove.
We
Crazy.
do. We got to finish that. But we have a very special guest today. Before we get to that, though, it's always great to have my dad, Bishop
Good to
Filkey, on
be
with
here
us.
in the co-chair.
It's a little small talk before we start. Usually we tell you about how beautiful and sunny California is. Today it is dark and rainy.
Yeah, well,
Little
I wouldn't say dark. That's a big word. I just say nice and rainy. It's
Well,
beautiful. California rain. It never rains in California. Who wrote that song? Larry would know. He'll tell us later on for sure.
Well, I actually love the rain, so I thought it was a nice breath of fresh air. In California, we don't get rain all during the summer like the South or in the East Coast, but we're excited. You wanted to say something, too, about
I wanted to start the segment with, our local businesses here. I've been obviously suffering. And I wanted to do I wanted to call it favorite holes in the wall. You said you didn't like that, so I guess we'll call it favorite eateries. What do you want to call it?
I'm not saying I don't like the idea, the saying hole in the wall. I'm saying the restaurants may not. I understand the concept.
Gotcha.
They may not like the hole in the
wall.
But still, the concept's the same. So let's just say local businesses.
Yeah, let's say the local eating places. So what are we going to call the segment? We can call it something like favorite food, Filkey's favorite food.
Local
eats.
Like
Yeah,
let's call it local eats.
Today I want to give a shout out to my favorite Dad's Dog on Pacific Boulevard.
Dependable.
Those girls are amazing. Okay. They make the best chili dogs, the Dad's Dog deal. Anyone that's in Stockton area and you want to get a great meal, they're still open. You can get in line and wait. It's not too long.
Yep.
Go to Dad's Dog. What's yours?
Do they have to be open right now?
Well, yeah.
A place that's open right now would probably be Nana's. I have to give it to Nana's.
Nana's. A shout out to Nana's. And we love Nana. She loves us too.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Real Mexican food. It's bomb.
And you need to go by and support our local businesses because they are great people. Nana is great people.
Yeah,
she
love
loves
Nana.
us. We always pray with her and she hugs us when we come in. What owner of a large restaurant does that anymore?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, anyway.
Well, listen, guys, we have a very special guest today, and we have been excited about this one for a long time.
I can't tell you.
And he's a good friend of ours. We actually love him to pieces, and I know you guys are going to love him too.
A new friend.
A very new friend of ours. His name is, actually, he has his own television show in Nashville called Mr. Nashville, and we'll talk a little bit about that now, but we got him on Zoom. Mr. Nashville, are you live?
Yes, I am.
There he is.
Hey, there he is.
Oh, my goodness. Good to see you, man.
Oh, it's good to see you guys, too. Hey, I wore my cowboy hat for you. I'd like to say because of the whole Nashville thing, but really it's because I got 5 different colors going on.
Yeah.
Hey.
And it's so long and stringy,
Yeah, I get it. And people haven't been able to get haircuts. All of our girls are running around here with no nails on. My wife, Jordana, is just like going crazy, no nails. And we're grateful because we have a hairdresser that is one of our pastors. And so we have an insight.
Yeah, I've not heard in that way. Unfortunately, I've kind of been
but
blessed.
I like the hat.
Yeah, it looks good.
And JL said if you don't like it, you can just send it to him.
In fact,
it's got George Jones's autograph on it and Porter Wagner's also.
No
That's
way.
Cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it was sitting in my office, and I said, asked one of my kids, I said, do you have a ball cap? Nobody did. So I said, well, this hat's going to get used today, buddy.
Well, it looks good, man.
Hey, it's a Nashville interview. You're right near the Grand Ole Opry. It fits.
So before we're gonna start, okay? So because we have just kind of a short amount of time, and I know this is gonna turn
an hour.
We got an hour.
Yeah.
This is gonna turn into a few different. I mean, we're gonna have to do a second and third.
Yeah, one
show.
day is not enough.
It's not enough with Larry. No way. He's full of information, but we'll try to get some. But you have worked with the likes of Little Richard's a friend of yours, Monique the comedian. I mean, Shirley Bassey. We could just go down the line, but let's start with you for a second. Where are you from, Larry, originally?
I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
And then I moved to Nashville. Yeah, I moved to Nashville. But Louisville, Kentucky, that's I go there and I hit all my mom and pop restaurants.
Come on.
I'm not talking about that. Sometimes I visit my aunt or do I go to my favorite restaurant that I know I'm not going to have?
Yeah.
Wow, you're a Kentucky boy.
Yeah, Kentucky. Yeah,
That is
Louisville,
crazy.
Kentucky.
Boy, that's the churches back up in there. We're talking about you got to pick the right one. You're going to be passing around snakes. Am I right or wrong about that?
Well, no, I was in the city part.
Oh, you're the city
So-
part. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the city, so we were in the actually like inner city a lot.
Oh,
That's
wow.
where I did this ministry work. Was in the inner city and the bus ministry. I don't know if y'all have those. Like we
Wow.
would pick the kids up on the bus and
Right.
Yeah,
and and sing songs and try to get their parents and
that's
stuff
great.
like that.
So
Yeah,
that's my wheelhouse. We do a lot of street ministry. We do a lot of feeding the
Yeah.
hungry. So Larry, let me ask you this: were your parents saved? Were you raised in a Christian home?
No, well, my mother was Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And so she took us to well, I'm an only child, and she took me to Catholic church, and I did get baptized in a Catholic church.
That's great.
That's interesting.
And, my godparents were the most godly people. I mean, I honestly, I think they had wings under their clothes. I mean, that's how. And but and I loved the Lord. And my mom read me Bible stories, and all of that. But
Wow.
I actually got saved through the bus ministry. That was
Really?
Yeah. My mom and dad divorced when I was 6,
Wow.
and so I started riding the church bus, and I got saved, and then I tried to get everybody in the family. And at one point, my grandmother said that church is out to get everybody.
Yeah.
A diehard Catholic, so
Yeah.
it was breaking her heart. And but yeah, I was saved and baptized and at a Baptist church.
At a
Okay,
Baptist
yeah.
church. Wow.
Yeah.
You know who's
And
famous for that
it-
bus ministry is Tommy Barnett.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
Tommy's a friend of ours. We've had him speak for us here. That's a huge thing with them. that
Oh
bus
yeah, that's
ministry, yeah.
we're working towards that. So your dad, correct me if I'm wrong, your dad was a guitar player too, wasn't he?
yes, he could play with his teeth, behind his back, above his head.
Wow.
I mean, he was amazing, and they used to write about him in the local, music magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
Because Louisville had a big band scene, like rock band scene.
Mhm.
So even after, I would get calls, people calling me out of the blue, talking about how great of a guitar player I was, and how they booked me and all this stuff, and it would be for my dad, even after I was grown, I was still getting those calls. His
Wow.
name is Larry Ferguson too. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So a lot of people, I got
cool.
credit for being a great guitar player, even though I couldn't play anything.
Okay. So a lot of people don't know. We'll kind of fast forward just a little bit. A lot of people may or may not know what would exactly be your title. You worked with Sister Dottie Rambo for many years and so many others. What exactly did you do?
Well, with Dottie, I was her manager. That was what I was hired for. But we were much more than that. And she called me her son, and I called her my adopted mom because, she was, we were that close. She was my best friend. She was my mother. She was, sometimes she was my daughter. It was all of that, wrapped up into one. And she was the best grandmother to my 2 sons.
Wow.
But we had a labor of love together, and we were family. But my official job was manager.
Wow.
But with her, there was so much. She was a songwriter, a singer. In the ministry.
Yeah.
And then the secular world loved her, and so it was a pretty much a full-time 24/7 job.
Yeah.
I would get calls in the middle of the night from Africa and everywhere else. That
Sure.
Wow.
she touched so many people's lives. But yeah, I was her manager. But really, she was kind of like we called each other mom and son.
Yeah.
And
She
Yeah.
was the most amazing woman, and I, in getting to know you the short time we've had a chance to real time get to know each other because we've been in each other's lives through Instagram and all of the media feeds. I can see her gift of loving people through you. That's what I told you off camera. I have so much. We reverence you because of your place in her life and
Yeah.
so many others. The way you love people is just so evident, man.
I love people so much. I was telling my friend yesterday, I said, she was talking about somebody she was having a real hard time forgiving. And I said, I just totally, no matter, we all get angry. We all get hurt. You get bitter, and I have been. But to me, it's best to just let it go.
Yeah.
Start over. You see that person, hug them, and just let it be over with. I love people that much. I don't want to carry the hurt or the anger. We get angry, but sin not. I don't want to carry the bitterness. Because it's not hurt. So I said, just forgive them and just love everybody, because there's a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, and people, but people, that's my heart. And it was Dottie's heart. We're so similar. And I think that's why we got along so well.
Well, the more relationships you have, like the more people you have in your life, and you've had thousands, that goes up exponentially in terms of the chance of being hurt. So you got to love and keep on moving, right? Yeah. So we love that about you.
She, at Christmas time, she told me, she said, go out and buy a bunch of quilts. And so I went, and she said, I want you to buy every one at Target. So I went and I bought all these quilts from Target. And she said, we're going to go out. We're not going to make a big deal about this, but we're going to go out and we're going to find street people.
Wow. Is this Dottie we're talking about?
Yeah, Dottie.
Wow.
And she said, we're going to give them the blankets. So she got, I'm waiting on her and everything. And she comes out. She's in a mink coat. This 7 or 8 carat diamond ring on her finger. And I said, you can't do that. She said, yes, I can, and yes, I will, because you want me. She said, I want them to see me. I would dress this way to meet somebody else. I'm going to dress this way to meet them.
Wow,
They're not,
that was hard.
Wow.
And they'll understand.
Going out to minister to people on the street, she wanted to look her best.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And she said, I would, if I was ministering to a banker, I would dress this way. So, and they would sing her songs. And everything. She had a heart for a minute.
See, someone that didn't know her like you did, they'd misconstrue a story like that.
Yeah,
they wouldn't understand. Yeah. But what you're saying is it was her heart that she wasn't going to wear her crummy clothes to go minister to people that were down and out.
Yes.
She wanted them to feel special.
Yes, exactly. And I understand that. I get that.
Too,
yeah.
So let me ask you this. Oh, I'm sorry, Larry.
I was just going to say that she didn't want them to think that she felt that they were less than.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
Absolutely. When we go out and feed,
she's going to give them what she gave you.
Absolutely. When we go out and feed the hungry, that's very important. We always shake their hand, always look them in their eye, because they're not animals. They're human beings like us. They're just down and out. Let me ask you this, Larry. How many years did you work for Miss Dottie Rambo?
We were trying to figure that out not too long ago. I worked with her before I moved here and went full time. I think full time 15 years, but I'm not quite sure on the actual. But and then there was some years before I moved here to Nashville, where I was coming back and forth or doing everything on the phone and everything, because I was a concert promoter in Kentucky.
We got a picture of her up right now kissing you on your cheek.
Yeah, you probably won't be able to see some of these, but they're going to show some of these pictures up, yeah.
She was the sweetest sweetheart, I'm telling you.
So, we were talking yesterday, and we'll talk about some other people, but while we're on the subject of Dottie, and you just stopped me when we're talking too much, but you and I were both talking on the phone yesterday, and I was thinking it, and you said it. And I don't take those things for granted. I believe in the prophetic. And I was thinking it, and you said it, and you said... I asked you about Andre Crouch, and you said, I think Dottie Rambo and Andre Crouch are two of the most single important people of this
the king
generation.
And the queen.
And when you said that, what I told you, I said, man, that's exactly what I was thinking. That is right on, and I think that's so true. Most would have to agree that know about music.
Well, yeah, because the secular world comes running to them, and wants their songs and wants to, respects them. And puts them up to such a high standard.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of great Christian writers and singers and songwriters, but not many that break that kind of mold to where And they're writing about the cross. They're writing about blood. They're writing about things that not supposed to be accepted.
That's right. That's right.
But they did not compromise. The gift came straight through the anointing, and people. I think people fell in love with the anointing, really, because you can't be around those type of people and not feel that anointing.
Yeah, they're right about it. We had Andre Crouch here just a few years before he passed. He wasn't doing really well. And actually, his sister had kind of passed down orders that he could not really do more than 20 minutes. But when he came in, the anointing was so strong that he told everyone, he said, look, I feel the anointing to worship. You know, he ministered to us for like an hour and 20 minutes, Larry. It was amazing.
Oh my God.
He told all of his life stories. He prophesied to my son, spent time with us in the green room. He was such an amazing person. And then Jordana had the opportunity to spend time with he and Sandra, go to the movies, dinner, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I was just picking Lynn on for sure. I brag about this because I can, but when he was at the church, he said, I have, and we have it on video. We're going to air it on our app.
We're going to produce a special around it.
Yeah, and we're going to, do that. But he said, I've not felt the anointing like this since the 70s. He says, the people here are so hungry and receptive. He goes, and I only planned on singing a couple songs. He said, but can somebody get me a piano? And we said, yeah, we'll get you a piano.
Yeah.
And he sat down and began to worship, and he'd minister and talk, and then worship and talk, and special moments like that. And I know you traveled with Dottie for 15 years, so you know
and Buck.
Yeah,
Dottie, we can't leave Buck out.
No,
Dottie and Buck. Yep.
No, I didn't travel with Buck.
Just Dottie.
Yeah.
So not the family.
No.
I got you.
I just went with Dottie, and by then everything was real.
Gotcha.
Separate.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, they divorced and everything.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we were talking about earlier, just a second ago. We were talking about how Dottie Rambo and Andre Crouch crossed barriers, and I know for a fact, and a lot of people that may not be privy to this, or they may or may not know this, but I know for a fact because we know people that sat with Andre, and he sat down and worshipped and ministered to Michael Jackson, and ministered to Prince, and he got a chance to. And these people would listen to him. And I know Dottie, I saw some pictures on your Instagram of her with George Jones and, Porter Wagner, I think you mentioned. Some people Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston. I didn't know that. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, Whitney knew Dottie for years, but not personally. I mean, she knew who Dottie was. And because the African American church, they love Dottie. They just always have.
We do.
TBN and things, But and the music, I go to the rock and all that. But Whitney, her mother was one of the Sweet Inspirations. So her mother had Dottie and things like that with the Elvis days, because Dottie and Elvis were tight friends, and he recorded.
Wow! Wait, back up for a second. I didn't know that. Are you saying that Elvis and Dottie were close?
Very, very. That's probably
that's awesome.
Who knew that? I didn't know that.
I am an Elvis fan. That is awesome.
Yeah, he gave Dottie for her birthday. He said, "I want to buy you a car," and she said, "I have my own car. I don't need you to buy me." And he said, I got to give you something. You got to tell me. And she said, well, you got a lot of, they were in his closet. She said, you got a lot of these costumes. Wow. She said, I'd love to have one of those. And so he gave her the one that's on the cover of the Live in Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
And so I got to wear it.
No way. Do you have a picture of that?
I didn't have a picture. I wish I had. I've got pictures of other people wearing it, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, she would she never would sell it. She had it put away in the house where she always look at it. They sold it when she died. That would have broke her heart. But they she had that, and she had he gave her his Bible.
Wow.
A handkerchief signed in lipstick to her, and necklaces and all that.
Wow.
It was really tight with him.
Yeah, wow. I'm sure that I know Elvis loved God. I know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do, Dottie said he didn't drink. he wasn't a drinker or anything like that. He got in, with the medication and things. But,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that partly because of injuries, I understand, or back issues or something. Yeah.
And they back then they freely gave that stuff like crazy, and if you're famous, they'll do whatever.
Yeah.
But he wrote down a little thing that he said, "This is our prayer. Every morning at 9:00, we're going to pray this prayer. If we can't reach each other on the phone, we're still going to say it." And she said, "Okay." And so it said, I can't remember exactly, but it was like Jesus light, Jesus love, Jesus within, or something. I can't remembe it.
That's okay. Yeah.
But it was beautiful how he wrote it.
Yeah.
And so they do that every morning. They tried to reach each other, or if they didn't, they couldn't reach each other because he wasn't a big morning person either.
Well, he and I have that in common then. Because I'm not either.
Yeah.
And Dottie, too. She was a night out, too.
Yeah.
But I think you asked me about Whitney. Whitney was familiar with Dottie through that route and the music, and her mother was gracious. But when they did the movie The Preacher's Wife, she recorded Dottie's song, I Go to the Rock.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're sending me, I got a call, they're sending me the triple platinum, because it's triple platinum now. When Dottie was alive, it was double platinum. She had that. But they're going to give me the, they go into, lots of people, I guess, but they're going to give me the triple platinum.
What an honor.
Yeah.
Wow, what an honor. We got so many names.
We do. Before we move on to some of the other people you've met and let me just say this. There are so many people that, and you and I talked about this a little bit previously, that people don't realize that are in the industry or in movies or in the music industry that have been touched by people like Sister Dottie Rambo and have been touched by even Bishop's music. They've heard of him or...
Yeah.
And who are some other people that because we didn't even know about Elvis, who are some other people that she touched or ministered to that we may not have heard of?
She was good friends with the comedian and actress Lily Tomlin. And if you know her. Yeah. And we we rented, she and I both rented houses that Lily owned. And her family was, her family got to be real close with Dottie as well, and Lily's mother and all of that. Actually, Dottie is buried next to Lily's mother.
Wow!
Oh wow!
And is she still with us, Larry? Is Lillian still with us? Is she
Lily is,
Oh, she's still with us. Okay, yeah.
She's on that show, Grace and Frankie, on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and she was on my show too. On the
Mr. Nashville.
Everybody's on your show. I feel like I'm on your show right now.
I feel like
we're actually on his show.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, man.
She and Lily, and of course, her and Dolly were buddies, and but a lot of the Marty Stewart.
Oh, we love Marty Stewart. We met Marty when we were in Nashville because I think Joel may have told you we vacationed there like for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And met him outside of Cracker Barrel, and he stopped everything when he found out I was a pastor and a bishop.
Guy.
He just stopped everything and just devoted all of his attention to talking to us. Him and B.J. Thomas were both that way.
Yeah.
But I love Marty Stewart. He's still doing his thing in Nashville, right? He's
and traveling and everything. And Connie Smith, Dottie knew Connie Smith for years. And Dottie used to have a television show herself called Dottie Rambo Magazine. And Barbara McDowell was on it, and Minnie Pearl, and
love
Connie,
Minnie Pearl.
Dottie West.
Got a chance to see Minnie Pearl at the Grand Ole Opry. Her and little Jimmy Dickens. And we met Jimmy Dickens, too. Really, I love him.
He's a character.
Jimmy Dickens is on the other side of Dottie.
No
kidding.
Yeah, and then above Dottie is Jim Ed Brown, the country singer.
Did you know we met all those people? We met. I mean, I can't explain it. It wasn't like a casual conversation. Like once they found out we were in ministry, the world stopped and they just plugged in. And what's the guy that used to, Porter Wagner was another one.
Yes.
Did you know Porter Wagner?
Yes, I did. He's one of the signatures on my cowboy.
Oh, that's
hat.
right. You said that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, Porter, one of his last recordings was with Dottie, and they played it at his funeral. They played it
Wow.
Dottie. It's mainly Dottie, and then he does a recitation of an old song she wrote called "Sheltered in the Arms of God." And
I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah, and he does a little recitation on it, and they played it at his funeral. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say maybe Joel and I could play a little game with you here. What we're going to do is we're going to throw names at you, and you just tell us what comes to mind. You might want to tell us about their heart, your relationship with them. So let me start with Barbara Mandrell.
The sweetest woman that you could ever meet, the most real person. As soon as Dottie died, I got a letter and card from her, and she kept in touch with me, had me out to her house. I adore her. And she was really close to Dottie, very close.
Louise.
Louise, I met her a couple times, but I just interviewed her.
Oh, you did?
So I don't know her as well, but she's amazing, just like her sister. But I have met her. That was my third time meeting her when I interviewed her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my dear friend, I want to say, my dear friend Randy Goff traveled and played the bass. You probably know Randy. With the Mandrells and also with Ricky Skaggs, as did Gary Smith, the piano player. I don't know if you recognize those names. Yeah, so that's interesting.
The comedian Monique.
Yes. Oh, now that's a sweetheart. She has been so good to me.
She's a friend of yours.
I think they got a picture. I think they got a picture of her coming up here pretty quick. Yeah.
Well, she was very good to me. You know, we're not hanging out and going to the movies together or anything like that. But you know, we were there, kind of encouraging each other. And she told me, she said, "Do your show your way. Do not let people change you."
Wow.
And she came to my show. She was, when we first started, and she was an Oscar winner and all these things. And she could have easily said, "Oh no, I'm not." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
New show, like prove yourself, or whatever. But she didn't. She was so kind, and she brought me out on stage in Las Vegas.
Oh wow!
I just her show, and at the end of the show, she brought me out, and I mean, she had me all just tore up, all this great stuff.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Videoed it.
Wow. Okay, so I got one for you. Now our millennials won't know this name, but you and I,
they can Google it.
Carol Channing.
Oh, now Carol, I love Carol. I produced 2 albums on her.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you did. Wow.
I did. I produced one. She wanted to do a gospel one, so we did that one, and then she wanted to do a patriotic one, and so we did that, and then that was her last 2 records.
Wow.
And see, I don't know if you can see it, but
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just have to be here in my office here.
That's great.
Carol, I traveled with Carol. We drove around doing media tours. We did The View and Wendy Williams and all those great shows.
What's one of your favorite stories about Carol Channing for all of our audience over 40?
Oh wow! Well, I'll make sure I got it. I'll tell you. He all of a sudden one day just started quoting this long scripture, and and it just, the way she quoted it was just, it almost knocked me down. And she said, "I say that to myself I can't remember which one it is because it was so long, but she said, I say that to myself every night before I go on stage."
Carol Channing. Wow. That blows me up. Larry, when I say that this stuff is gold right here, I tell you why, because people need to know these people knew the Lord.
Right.
Yeah. She was raised, she was 90-something when she died, 96, I think.
Yeah.
And she was raised, her father was into Christian Science.
Oh, okay.
In the early years of that, when it first started. And then she later married. She already had all the scriptural knowledge and stuff, but she married a Baptist husband.
Oh, wow.
And there's going to be a few of those in heaven too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should hope so. Okay, here's another one. Little Richard, your friend, Little Richard.
We just lost him 2 days ago, but Richard, let me tell you, when I met him, I produced his very last song. It's coming out this year.
Wow.
It's a tribute album to Dottie. We had famous people pick their favorite song of Dottie's and so he and I became tight buddies where he would call me and just pray for me. He is the most humble man you ever met.
Yeah.
At all of his shows, it didn't matter how large the shows were or whatever, he gave free Bibles out at every show.
I think one of the most misinterpreted artists
I know,
ever.
I've always said that.
And I agree with you. I saw one of the videos of him up in age talking about how much he loved Jesus. And my mom worshiped the ground. This guy
she liked Little Richard?
Oh, she loved Little Richard.
Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy.
Right,
you know what's so funny?
He's a showbiz guy, but he loved the Lord. So.
It's so funny. I started singing that the other day. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti. Wop bop do bop wham bamboo. I started singing that, and somebody who was in their 20s was like, "What are you do? What is that noise you're making coming out of your mouth?" They didn't even know what it was. But I got another one.
I got one for you. Let me do one for you. Do it.
Okay.
Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
Kenny Rogers.
Now, I love Kenny Rogers. I didn't know him really well, but I met him a couple times. Mm-hmm. But I love, and in the second time I met him, he remembered me, which that just blew my mind. But Kenny, I love Kenny Rogers. I grew up in the '80s, so I mean,
me too.
Kenny, I mean that he ruled the radio in that time period.
Leslie Jordan.
Oh, now
he is hilarious. He is hilarious. I watch his Instagram videos and belly laugh until I cry. He is so funny.
He is, and I met him, and he loves Dottie. And
I bet.
His favorite song of Dottie's is "I've Never Been This Homesick Before."
Yes.
I love that song too.
I listened to that the other day and cried. I love that song.
Well, they did a stage show. He was a part of a stage show, and everybody there had some connection to, they love that song, and they've been talking about Dottie and everything. So they invited us out. So we went, and she met the entire cast. And as soon as Leslie saw her, he just started singing at the top of his lungs.
He's a famous actor. Yeah, I don't know if you know. He's from the show Will and Grace. He's a famous actor even now. That's what we're talking about.
Right,
your turn.
Betty White.
Betty White. Oh, no, I had breakfast with Betty White.
Oh, really? We want to hear about that. Because everybody, even millennials, know Betty White. She's off the charts beautiful,
She loves animals and zoos. She worked very hard to help the zoos. She hated any kind of protests against the zoos or, because she thought this is the best way for children and families.
I agree.
Animals, and they're treated really well. And she goes to the Los Angeles Zoo and just feeds those animals. They bring her in and let her hold the monkeys and all that kind of stuff. Bears.
Do you know if she was a believer, Larry?
I don't. I wasn't. I'm not tight with her or anything. I just met her a few times.
Well, it's cool that you had breakfast with her. That's cool because she's still going. How old is she now? She's what, 90s something?
97 or 6, something like that. Yeah, her and Carol were the same age.
So I got another one. Sherry Shepherd from The View.
Oh, I adore her.
Me too.
We used to tweet each other. That's how some of these relationships, believe it or not, got started. Was just through tweets, and then we kind of developed. Now I'm not close friends with her or anything, but when she we just go, it's like we. Just saw each other.
There we got a picture of her now.
Yeah, she's so funny and so sweet. I love her.
Wow.
And she's a Christian. She's a believer. And she's another one that did my show. Wow. She could have said no, but she didn't. And her stand up is hilarious. It's very hard. It's very, very hard to do clean stand ups nowadays.
Sure.
Because when they say these bad words and things, people just laugh out of shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why they do that, a lot of comics.
Yeah.
But you take somebody that is gifted and can shape a joke without being dirty, that's somebody with talent.
Yeah.
I've
heard that.
You're right about that. Well, how about Ricky Skaggs?
Good, godly man, one of the best in the business.
Have you had him on your show? Has he been on your show yet?
No, but he's on a tribute album to Dottie that I was mentioning.
So you're producing that tribute album, right?
Yes, I did. It's done. It's just not out yet.
So and that is all you were telling me yesterday. That is a group of people that half of which you said Dottie wanted to hear sing her songs, and so when she passed, you put all those together and some, right?
Yeah.
Who's on that album?
Exactly.
Who's on that?
Little Richard, Dolly Parton.
Wow.
Ricky Skaggs and his wife, the late Solomon Burke, the late Ben Page.
Wow.
We lost a few here. Joe Disney, who just passed, he's on there.
Who?
Dottie Peoples and Bobby Jones Nashville Super Choir.
Wow, Dottie Peoples. Wow. Everyone in Black Gospel is going to know that name.
Yeah.
She is amazing.
Yeah, George Jones.
George Jones.
Okay,
I love
Nicole
Nicole C. Mullen, you said?
Yes, Nicole C. Mullen.
And I know
David
my
Phelps.
Redeemer lives, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And, David Phelps. I'm trying to Tanya Tucker.
My gosh.
We paired a lot of people up, like with the background vocals or harmonies or whatever. A lot of times we brought in famous people to do those. Like Dolly, on Dolly's, the harmonies are done by Pam Tillis.
Yeah. And wow, I loved Mel Tillis. Wow. That's
Yes.
crazy.
Wow. Okay.
So can I just slow it down for a second? I want to slow it down for a second and tell people who are watching us today, because this is so fast. We're like at 75 and a 50
We'll slow down.
per hour.
We'll slow it down.
Yeah, 50 mile per hour zone here.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Larry is I'm learning this right now. I didn't realize how much we have in common. Larry is a producer. So, I mean, you're producing these projects. Do you play an instrument?
No, I hear things in my head, and I get with people that I can talk to, and they understand what I'm talking about.
They speak your language.
So
that's
you're a
right.
visionary. Yeah. You're a visioneer.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're a producer. Your obviously your dad's anointing is definitely on your life. So, that's obvious. Then you got Dottie's anointing layered on top of that. I mean, this guy, everyone that's watching and listening to us on this podcast, we are talking to a producer that is still, even after the accident. Can we go back to that real quick?
If you don't mind,
If you
can
want
we
to talk
about
the
that for a second?
No. What happened exactly, Larry, on that?
Well,
You just give a short version.
Just a short version.
Yeah.
I know you came out of it injured. Thank God you'd lived, Yeah.
we dropped 96 feet, and then the speed of that, going downhill with a 45-foot Prevost, tour bus, it was like a missile, and it shot up the other side. So we got all the way up to the other side of the mountainous thing there.
Mm-hmm.
And before it went over the guardrail, we went backwards 96 feet. So we dropped 96 feet twice.
And so for people that don't know what you're talking about,
wow.
because we kind of jumped into it, you were on a tour bus with Dottie Rambo and quite a few other people.
It was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Mother's Day, and we were traveling to do a service. She never really did mornings. Usually everything was, but we had a morning. And so my two sons were on
It's
the
a
bus.
miracle
Also,
you guys are alive.
yeah, and my assistant. They didn't get. Thank God the kids didn't break anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the rest of us, we got broke up really bad. And of course, Dottie, it killed her instantly. She was asleep.
Yeah.
So, and I know she was asleep. So I take comfort in that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a tough time and tough recovery. I mean, I'm never fully recovered, but I just keep chucking and keep moving along.
Yeah.
Well, we're thanking God today, Larry, that you have, and we see by the pictures you're still recuperating. And what an amazing story that is. Thank God that you're still alive and you're still telling. And really, as long as you're alive, the memories of Dottie are going to be.
Still keep going.
Yeah, got to keep on going. Yeah.
So I want to go ahead.
She died. She left her ministry to me.
Wow.
Her Rambo Evangelistic Association. When she died, she left it to me.
Wow. What an
So I've been
honor.
trying to, there's some things I'm trying to work out and different things as well and get those out. But gosh, she.
That's an honor. The Lord would trust you with that. Let me throw some other names at you, Larry. Are you ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Shirley Bassey.
It's Dame Shirley Bassey.
Dame Shirley.
Dame
Thank
Shirley
you. I was
Bassey.
wondering
Do we
about
have
that.
a picture of her back there?
She's the one that sings Goldfinger. Goldfinger.
No.
Yeah.
I have never met her.
What?
No, I adore her though.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
the one. I tell you, that's the one I'd love to interview. I don't even have to interview her. I just want to. I'm
Moving on.
yeah.
that vocal that she has is just so
Okay, that's
powerful.
okay. What about
But I love her.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me replace that one then. Marla Gibbs from the Jeffersons.
Yes, I had her on my show, and I loved her.
She's sweet.
Again, we're not close friends, but she was so kind and did my show, and she's just like a little grandmother. You just want to hug her and everything.
Yeah.
Do we have a picture we can put up of her, Marla Gibbs,
Marla
back there? I
Gibbs.
can't remember. Did you get one back there? No.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
sent it to him. If not, we can do it after.
And while they're looking for that, how about Roy Horn? Because I know you know Siegfried and Roy. Everyone's been in Las Vegas, saw Siegfried and Roy. Did you know them personally, or?
No, I didn't know Roy.
No?
I posted about when he died, but I
Okay.
never met.
All right,
Yeah.
moving along.
Well, so we also have a friend in common, Carmen. We saw you had him on your
yeah.
show.
Yes. Oh, I love it. He came in and he said, I watch your show and I want to know why I haven't been on it yet.
There he is. There's the man himself.
And
Wow.
he was so great, And man, Carmen, to me, I mean, he is to Christian music what Elvis was.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
rock as
No
far
doubt.
as
Yeah, he was here.
breaking
He was here with us. He was here with us. Larry came and ministered for us. Actually, we were the first church he ever preached in.
Yeah.
So it was
Really?
it was
Oh,
really
wow.
it was really quite an experience because he was asking me in the green room and Bishop Hooks. Now, what do I do again? It was his very first time in pulpit ministering in the pulpit, but he did great. And I'm like you. He is one of the greatest storytellers in his songs.
Yeah.
He tells stories through almost cinematic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know Jake spent some time with him too in the hotel
he's
and talking
a real
to him.
friendly guy. I got a couple
Yeah.
names for you. Here's one that's everybody will recognize. Well, country fans out there, Charlie Pride.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love him.
Me too.
Yeah, he is the trailblazer, the first major African American country music star there was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's still going strong,
Yeah.
and I love him. I haven't got to spend a ton of time with him, but I've been around him, many times. But
Well,
I'd love to know him more.
Let me ask you this, Larry. Who are, give us three of your top favorite people to spend time with that everyone might know today?
Well, probably some that you mentioned, Little Richard, and of course Dolly Parton.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about Dolly. We haven't even talked about Dolly. When we say Dolly Parton, what comes to your mind, Larry?
The kindest heart. The kindest heart. She really reminds me so much of Dottie. They have
too.
very similar. They have a very similar
Wow.
style of how they communicate with people and who they are. They could have been like sisters or something very
Well,
easily.
she loves you because we got a picture of her sitting on your lap, hugging your neck. So if I would have been there, I would have been standing in line.
Yeah.
So everyone knows.
I got one where she's spanking me with a ruler in her
Oh
schoolhouse.
my goodness. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
funny.
Her estate, she has an estate that's just an amazing. It's like it's got the home she was born in, and they made it modern on the inside, and
Yeah. How old were you when you were hugging her? She's in a Santa Claus suit with the fur around. How old were you then?
I think that was 2001. I don't know how old I was. Probably.
Well, we'll just leave it a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
don't. 2001, whatever that would be. I have a hard time remembering how old I am.
We'll say you were 16. You were 16 years old.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Yeah.
A little older than that.
So Larry,
Yeah.
Dolly, I
Well,
heard Dolly has a heart for people as well. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about your relationship with her and.
Well, she's always was kind to me in the business and everything, but when Dottie died, especially, the first person I heard from was her. She checked to see how, we were doing, taking care of ourselves and
Yeah.
if there was any help needed there. And the sweetest thing, we came to Dollywood and we planted a rose for Dottie.
Oh, wow.
And she gave me this vase, and I don't, she didn't ask about it or anything, but this hand blown glass vase, painted, and it had peacock feathers painted all on it, which was Dottie's favorite. She collected peacocks. So it was really special to me. And she, as soon as I asked her to be on the Dottie tribute, she said yes immediately. I mean, she's very, very just one of the kindest people in the business. I would almost venture out and say she is the kindest.
Yeah.
Well,
wow.
Anybody.
Well, some of our connections to Dottie and people like Ricky Scraggs, of course, Bluegrass. Our friend, I don't know if did you know Lawrence Bishop Sr., Lawrence Bishop out of Ohio? His nephew, Wayne Perry, wrote 10 of Tim McGraw's first 10 hits. Are you familiar with Wayne Perry? Or you know about him?
I know who they are, but I don't know them like, that. Yeah. They wouldn't know me probably, but I do know them just because I keep up with, I try to stay abreast of what all's going on in the business and things.
A crazy story about Joel and I and Jordana. We were in the airport in Nashville because my mother-in-law owned property before she passed, and now it's been passed down to our family. A mountain there in outside of Nashville. We were flying back home, and we were inside the captain's lounge, whatever, first class captain's lounge, and we saw him sitting there, and we're going to turn around and talk to him. Lord just kind of checked me and said, just leave him alone, and I'll tell you when. And we were just sitting there and just minding our own business, and then right before we left, I turned and told him who we were, introduced ourselves to him, and he was the kindest person. Again, found out we were pastors, opened up. I told him we prayed for him in faith and their family, whatever. And I felt like I kept telling him, he said, I feel like I've met you before. I said, I feel like we've got some connection, but I can't remember what it is. And then Wayne Perry came up. So we flew first class for one of those legs on the way back through. And when I mentioned Wayne Perry, I mean, he came out of his seat and said, Wayne Perry, he said, if it wasn't for Wayne Perry, I wouldn't be who I am. He wrote my first 10 hit songs. And so it's really cool that you're sitting there in the midst of Nashville, for those that don't know about it, is a hotbed of record companies, talent. Yeah. What record company do you produce with, or do you have your own record label, Larry, or what?
Yeah, I do. I produce myself, and then so that way I can own the master. And then I usually lease out or partner with a bigger outfit, to get it massive. So that's how I usually do, and my imprints on there and things like that. But yeah, I love producing. I'm a slow producer though. So I like to live with the song and play it over and over and over, and then say, okay, I want to add this, I want to add that.
Wow.
And do that kind of thing.
How many projects have you produced? How many have you produced?
Well, I came late to it. I think I produced maybe 7 or 8.
Wow, that's a lot, though. That's a lot of work.
I know. I have a lot of, like on the Dottie tribute, there's 18 different artists. So it's almost like 18 different projects because, each artist is like a totally, different thing, and different way of recording. And we recorded some, Burke we did in Calabasas, and then
wait a minute, did you say Calabasas?
Yeah, that's where we did his
in California.
Yes,
wow.
That's where he lives.
Okay, so our dear friends, Mel and Desiree Ayers, live in Calabasas, so that's another commonality. We have a lot of friends that live there, and I preached there in the church there on the outside there of Calabasas.
Let me ask you. I just want to say a couple more names, and then I want to say something else about you, Larry, or to you. Vestal Goodman.
Oh my goodness, the Goodman family.
I love her.
She's like a little grandmother there, to all of us in the business. Yeah. And I've made her a coconut pie that she's famous for, or either pie or a cake. I can't remember.
Yeah.
That was Dottie's best friend.
I didn't know that.
Wow, they got pictures of that up right now. I loved Vestal Goodman, Soul Harbor.
Wow.
My mom played that and wore it out.
Dottie was writing songs and everything, you know, and all people were hearing them, and because Dottie was an evangelist first.
Yes.
Left home at 12. That's all she did, and then, you know, and everything. There was no group or anything. That kind of stuff came later, and so a lot of people were hearing her songs and fell in love with them, and so Vestal was one of them, and she was singing it.
Wow.
And Governor Julie Davis said, "Where did you get that song?" And she said, "Well, there's this girl here in Kentucky, a little girl here. She writes all these great songs." And so he sent for her, sent the governor's plane or whatever, and brought her to Louisiana and gave her a big break.
Wow.
So it was.
Well, here's one for you. This might be a test. The Singing Hensons.
Oh yeah, I know that I'm pretty sure. I didn't know all of them that well. I know some of the newer generation, you know.
I think Larry just passed away. I think Larry just passed away. Yeah.
And of course, Kenny was their big star.
Oh my God, he was his voice was replica of. Oh my goodness, I would know this. Lived right up the road here, one of the greatest country.
You're talking about he has his own street in Bakersfield.
No, Christmas. No. Yeah, anyway, yeah. So yeah, wow.
I can't remember.
Yeah, we got so many people today happening, man. This is crazy.
Know, the reason we wanted to have you on the show today, Larry, is because people like you are such a gift to the kingdom.
You are,
and I mean that. And I heard somebody once say she was in fact, I'll just say her name, Karen. Karen, she worked for my grandfather. He was a tent evangelist.
Cousins.
Yeah, Croissant. And she is like an aunt to us. And anyways,
Croissants.
She played the organ. She'd make sure the tent got set up. She did all for 30 years. And I heard her say one time, "I'm just a shot." She goes, "If I could just be a shot in the bucket, you know, in terms of the kingdom," she says, I've done enough, and I know the Lord's pleased." And you're way more than that, Larry, and she's way more than that. When I hear about everything you've done, I didn't want to have you on the show. It's fun to mention all the people you've met, but I'm not sure you know how important of a person you are in the kingdom, and what you've done. You're such a big part of, if not as important as Dottie was in touching the world, and continuing to touch the world. And we wanted to bring you on to appreciate you. And tell you how much you mean.
And you all mean that much to me too. And I can, we're in this together. We're all a family in the body.
Yes, sir.
And you know, we need these bonds. We need these family relationships. It seems like so many of the churches and so many of the believers are so stuck in what's in their backyard.
Yeah.
And they forgot, our days. Is our mission field. The whole world is our. We're to set out our nets, and pull in the fish that way,
Sure.
And now it's, and I'm not putting anybody down. It's just everything is so modernized to where we,
Yeah, I call it flat hat, smoke, mirrors, lights, flat hat, and skinny jeans, and I get all that too, and I get that part of it. But what I love about you too is that you have caught on to what. Of course, Jordana and I and our family and many other people who have really understood the kingdom, that we're not called to reach the church. We're called to pastor the church.
Yeah.
We're called to reach the secular world.
Right.
And I love that about you. You're a bridge builder. And you're a person that loves people no matter where they are. You remind me a lot. I wasn't going to bring the name up, but I may as well. You remind me of Tammy Faye Baker in some ways, because Tammy loved people. She had been through so much that she learned to love people right where they were.
She was my friend. I mean, we weren't, best friends, but we were friends. And she, that woman, she loved people so much.
There she is right there. Got a picture of you kissing her on her cheek. She looked like Lucille Ball to me.
Yeah, that's what me and my son say too. And she died about 2 months after that picture. Mm-hmm. And
another very misunderstood person. In her later years, she had learned so much from her failures and mistakes that she was a person of grace.
And you know what? It's amazing to me that people that really love people are always a target.
That's true.
Yes.
And you can disagree with whatever portion of her life or whatever, but what you can't say about her is you can't say she didn't love people. There's a couple names we didn't mention. my producer reminded me. Reba McEntire was one of them.
Reba McEntire.
Yeah, Reba's a sweetheart. Yeah, I don't know her like a buddy, but I've met her many times, and she's a doll.
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler. Wow, I forgot about
Oh,
that.
I met Bette twice, and I met her, and she was so kind to me. And the next day, we were at another show, and she happened to be at the show. I didn't know that,
Wow.
and she come over to us just like we were old time friends, and everything. Yeah, I love Bette Midler. I'm a big fan. You talk about somebody that can do everything. I mean,
Yeah.
she can
Right.
dance, comedian,
Well,
Well, I tell people all the time, you don't have to tell people they're sinners in most cases. We all know we're sinners, saved by grace. And, the world, I mean, Diana Ross had it right. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Yeah.
And,
Burt Bacharach. Yeah.
and I love the way you love people. That's what connected me to you, because I could tell from all of the photos that you weren't just enamored, you weren't just starstruck, but you
Something
were genuinely
different.
connected to the
different.
people on your show. And I'd like to invite all of you that do not or have never seen Larry's show, Mr. Nashville. We call it
look
Mr.
it up.
Nashville. Is it?
Talks.
Yeah, Mr. Nashville Talks. You need to look him up. He's on Instagram, Facebook. What's the mediums, Larry? What's the mediums we can catch your show on?
Well, to get it free, you can go onto YouTube. We post everything on YouTube also, and you can subscribe to my channel. I have never pushed the subscriptions until recently.
Yeah.
So, I just was posting it, and letting it do its thing. So, but I've been corrected and said, you need to be asking people to subscribe.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Making that, please, whoever's watching today, please go subscribe. But there, and then I'm also on a new network called ETV, and they have a lot of for the demographic that's not looking for the like the Kardashians and all of the new stuff, like Lucy and westerns and cooking shows.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
yeah. It's a family network.
Country music, gospel music, yeah.
Big market
And
for
so,
that. Yeah.
And it's $2.99 a month, and you can just stream. It's kind of like a very clean Netflix.
That's cool.
And so it's
I like
really
that.
good thing to get some of your shows on there. I mean,
Yeah.
because they're great people to work with, and so I'm also on there. So then that's Roku and Apple TV and all that kind
Very
of stuff.
cool. Very cool. Well, maybe we could talk to you a little bit later about even maybe getting some of your stuff on our Roku channel, our new West Coast Church
I would
Roku
love
channel.
that.
Because I think our people would be very entertained. And you know what? If people ever needed peace, it's right now. If they ever
Yeah.
needed
Yeah.
pure, clean, just entertainment to just kind of keep their minds off of stuff and keep moving forward, it's right now. And I think that you do that very well. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go
Thank
ahead.
you. No, I was just going to say thank you. I appreciate that because, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And if like you said, we're here for the lost. We're here for the world. The church is already saved. The church is already there. They've got it.
Yep.
Spread that love and spread that gift.
Yeah.
Even the people we don't like, necessarily.
I'm
Love them, but you don't have to like everything about them, but you
Right.
can love them.
Right. That's
I'm
right.
hearing.
And-
I can hear Dottie's heart in you now. That evangelistical. I can hear it now. Your heart is for the lost. Listen,
Yes.
my producer texted me. We're kind of out of time.
No,
But
no problem.
no, but is there anything you want to say before we go?
Well, I definitely want to have you back, and I definitely want to fly you and the boys out when we get through a lot of this, and we're all in the clear. We would love to have you out to California and sit and introduce you to our people and all of the people that we know. And I would just tell all of our audience that's listening and watching today that you need to look up Mr. Nashville.
Yeah.
And see his programs. I wasn't kidding when I said if he doesn't know him, he's met just about everybody in Nashville for sure.
Yeah.
And you were a publicist. Are you a publicist as well, Larry? Before we go, are you a publicist or?
No, I did a lot of PR just for Dottie because I was there, and I got, they did it the way I wanted. So I just am a promoter. I promote my stuff and, know how to do it that way. And
I like the
everything.
name, Mr. Nashville. That's cool. Is that something you came up with, or?
That Joan Rivers called me that the first time, And then Sarah Palin called me
Wait
back.
a minute. Well, back up where I know what I'm talking.
We're going to have to come back.
Oh, my goodness.
We got to come back for another
yeah,
show.
we're going to have to come
go in a
back
second,
for
but-
another show, man. That's
Oh, my
crazy.
God.
Wow, that's crazy.
But
Wow.
that's how I got the name. It was just, mainly through Sarah Palin. Yeah, because
We got to
when
come
I
back.
sent
That's
the picture
awesome.
of us together, I sent her the picture and said, "Would you sign this?" And I didn't tell her anything about reminding her. And she wrote on there to Mr. Nashville.
Wow.
We're talking 2 years later. So I said, "I'm keeping that name."
Yeah, I think I would too. Wow. Anything you want to say?
Oh, no, go ahead. It's one more.
I was just going to say, before we go, let's remember our friend. I'm sure you know him too, and he's been great to me over the years. Jim Baker.
We're praying for him.
Sammy's former husband. And pray for him because he's under he just had a stroke.
I heard
And
that.
he's
I
under a
heard
strong
that.
attack right now.
Yeah, we have been praying for him and praying for them.
Yeah.
Now he's over in Missouri now, right?
Yes,
He's in Missouri,
real
yeah.
nice ministry there, yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't done more in Missouri because that's a hotbed for talent too, because we
Well,
were
I
just
used
there
to.
in Branson.
Yeah, I used to. And I've done Jim's show, and then Dottie did his show many times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We've been down there for that many
definitely.
times.
Yeah, there's so many people that we need to keep in prayer today, everybody, because I tell you, the church is under attack, and whether you agree or disagree with somebody is really, it has neither here nor there. We got to continue to pray for one another for sure.
Exactly.
If you're preaching Jesus, I'm praying for you.
That's right.
But man,
That's right.
Larry, thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Larry.
We honor you, man, and I mean that. I when I see someone like Dottie Rambo or I see Dolly Parton, I see these. I know there's somebody that God has appointed to run their life, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but someone that God has entrusted to help them get the message of Jesus Christ out there. And you are definitely, in your own right, an evangelist in a way. And I just wanted to have you on the show. Thank you for being on the SuperChill Podcast.
Yep.
Will you come back? I'm asking you publicly.
Yeah,
I'm putting pressure on you.
anytime.
Will you come back?
I'll come anytime.
We'll send you a hat. We'll send you a hat.
Yeah, we'll send you another hat. Man, we
man.
love you, Larry, and
I love you guys, too.
I'll call you in a little bit and we'll talk.
Yeah.
But thanks for being on SuperChill Podcast, you guys. Thanks
Blessings
for listening.
to you, man. I love you.
And we will see you next time.
God bless you all.
God bless. Bye-bye.